Jones' macho style and open fondness for younger women provoked the inevitable question.
Does it bother me that I sound like a male chauvinist? No. I am a male chauvinist. I think women are wonderful. I think every man should own several.
Can I ask, this is maybe an unfair question, is there sex between you?
Is there sex between us? Is it true, as I've heard all over Hollywood, that the reason your wife divorced you is because you can no longer get it up? Or is that just a savage rumor? Is there sex between us? You're damn right. She's my wife. What the hell else would I have her for, you know?
Well, is that really true? I mean, are you offended by that kind of characterization? Don't you feel embarrassed by that?
Would you like to have a sexual contest? I mean, we can get 10 or 12 starlets here and have a, you know...
Arthur, how many times...
A big game hunter and soldier of fortune who still carries a pistol. He's said to have killed 600 elephants, 73 men in his lifetime, but who feels sorry only for the animals. He's real. His name is Arthur Jones, a self-educated man, too powerful, too rich, and too aggressive to be called eccentric, but whose tough talk about his projects, his passions, and philosophy of life will sometimes offend the faint of heart. Here's Arthur Jones, one of a kind.
There are three things of value: younger women, faster airplanes, and bigger crocodiles.
At all, what you've probably heard about him has, to say the least, not been flattering. For instance, one of the most recent articles written about Jones called him, quote, a tortured soul, antisocial, an inventor who has devised a three-part plan to bring the United States to its knees. The article also quotes Jones as saying that the only invention he thinks the public would use correctly is a cyanide pill. They can either take it or not take it. In every television show you've ever seen, or every article you've ever read about Arthur Jones, that is in fact how he is depicted, as an eccentric millionaire tyrant who lives in the middle of Central Florida, who brooks no interference and tolerates no mistakes. And that perhaps is Arthur Jones' biggest complaint, that he is often misrepresented by the media, not just him, but everyone else as well.
Now what about, do you carry a gun?
They have what they call the Sullivan Law in the state of New York. That's an embarrassing question. Why don't we pass over that?
Did I embarrass you about carrying a gun?
I was once quoted, and accurately, as saying that a gun is like a tourniquet. You may never need one, but when you do, you need it very badly and very quickly.
Okay. Now, your business is booming. I read this afternoon where you also don't like to you don't like to publish the sales figures or the profits and losses and so forth.
Well, you don't hand clubs to people to beat you with. So
yeah, but
if you do, you get lumps on your head.
But is it?
I don't have enough hair for that.
Is it? How much? Can you give us a hint as to how much the company is worth?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone once said that if you knew what you were worth, you're not worth very much.
Yeah, so this would be probably beyond our wildest imagination.
Well, I didn't say that.
All right, let's...
In this narcissistic me decade, where disciples of physical perfection pump iron on the Zen route to personal fulfillment, there was one man in the right place and at the right time. He created an exercise formula and turned it into a $300 million empire. These are just a few of the better bodies built by Nautilus. Boderick, Victoria Principal, and this 21-year-old beauty who's married to the king of firm flesh, a man who started with a plastic card with no credit left and wound up on Fortune's 400 wealthy American list. 60-year-old Arthur Jones.
And if they had bothered to check my account, I had about 42 cents in it, if that, maybe 18 cents. The credit card had a top limit of $300, and at that point, I think I had about $2,000 charged to it.
It all began with one simple machine built in a rented garage, thanks to a small loan from his sister. 14 years later, his company projects 10-year earnings of over $9 billion.
We are 700 times as big as we were 13 years ago. And I believe we will be 700 times as big 13 years in the future as we are today.
Today, that empire has skyrocketed to include 3 707s, an intercontinental jet, and a fleet of twin-engine planes.
Those are...
Well, a joke is a joke, but when Arthur gets serious, he comes out with some quotes that seem intended to shock, and they're pure Arthur.
Well, I have been quoted as saying that I'm 64,000 miles to the right of Attila the Hun, but I think that's an understatement. Teddy Roosevelt said, "Walk softly and carry a big stick." In 1900, that might have been appropriate. Today, you sneak around and carry a Thompson submachine gun. I don't admire much else about the Arabs, but I do admire their attitude towards theft. Chop off the hand the first time and the head the second time.
But a ninth grade education in the 1930s was equivalent to about 2 PhDs today. And that's giving the PhDs the benefit of the doubt.
Armed with his ninth grade education, Arthur set out to conquer the world, and he started by learning to fly. Today, Arthur owns a fleet of jets, and his #1 pilot is wife Terry.
I didn't teach Terry to fly. I stuck her in the left seat of the airplane and said, "Fly it." And when she made a mistake that might otherwise have killed her, then I saved her.
She flies the 3 707s they keep beside the house and will attempt to break an around-the-world speed record later this year. But last summer, the plane was put to a different use. It became sort of an elephant bus in the largest single animal airlift in history. Arthur rescued 63 African elephants from certain starvation and brought them home to the backyard at a reported cost of $1 million.
Willie! Willie! Come here, Willie! Come on, Willie!
Why did he do it? Well, he says the elephants are for medical research, but just what kind of research, he isn't saying.
When we are ready to publish the results, we will publish the results. In the meantime, we won't talk about it.
Meanwhile, the elephants are thriving in the Florida sunshine. Willie, this little fellow, has just had a root canal, and Shupa, the smallest, has gained over 100 pounds and likes to follow Arthur and Terry around like a puppy.
I always wanted a horse farm, but I never thought I'd have a farm with elephants and rhinos and gorillas.
Yes, there's a pair of white rhinos that just had their first baby. Over 150 rattlesnakes, cobras, and pythons.
Well, are you hungry? Come on!
And close to 500 alligators and crocodiles. Meet Makulu, one of the largest crocodiles in captivity, and his lovely mate.
Let's go.
And then there's Mickey the gorilla, all 400 pounds of him. Well, he's into advertising now and earns his keep starring in television commercials.